So everyone loves new plugins, but let's be honest, most of them just sit there accumulating dust once we've gotten them. Soon there's way too many options there, and you feel paralyzed and guilty feeling like you should use them, and suddenly you're not feeling creative anymore. So to counteract the plugin hoarding, here are 5 questions you can ask yourself before you get your next plugin. Okay, so question 1, do I already have this? The reality is that most DAWs come with a bunch of great stock plugins. I know Ableton, FL Studio, and Logic Pro all have incredible pro level plugins and devices you can use without even having to get a single third-party device. Yeah, 100%. And the reality is when you're looking at that shiny new plugin with its great interface, you pretty much probably already have a similar or exactly the same version in your stock tools. So why would you buy an EQ when you've got a perfectly good one with EQ8 or Parametric EQ2 or Logic's EQ? The reality is you don't need 10 different EQs, 20 different compressors, and 50 different synths. You just need 1 to 3 of each kind. Maybe 1 or 2 of them have a slightly different purpose, but generally speaking, you want to minimize the amount of each type of plugin you have and preferably just have one option for each. And most of the time, the reality is that the third-party plugin you're looking at only has marginally more features than the stock version of the same thing, which leads us to point 2, but real quick, if you do want some great plugin recommendations from us in the EDMProd team, make sure to check out our free music production software guide PDF. I'll leave a link in the description for that because it's got some high-quality curated recommendations. Question 2, am I fulfilling an existing need or am I just creating a new one? This is a really controversial one because when you see a sale or you see a new plugin come out, you can be really hooked in and think, man, I really need this. This is exactly what I've been looking for. But you've never actually needed that plugin before. You're creating a new need. If you're fulfilling an existing need, for example, you've been using a compressor in Ableton to shape the transients of your sounds and it just doesn't quite give you enough control. Therefore, you're looking for like a transient designer plugin. So you use SPL's transient designer or something else like that to fulfill a need. That's probably a good idea. What's not a good idea is finding new plugins that you've never even heard of before that fulfill needs you didn't even realize were a thing, and buying them for no reason, really. And the real problematic part with finding new needs to solve is that you've already got existing problems as a producer that you're trying to work on. You already struggle with making a song. So how do you think buying a new plugin that you never thought you needed is going to solve that? You're already trying to just write a good chord progression. So perhaps buying that new reverb is really not going to help you achieve anything in that realm. You know, it's like you don't need a plugin on top of the problems you've already got. Like, focus on what you already struggle with, and then as you encounter problems that can be solved by third-party plugins, an existing need can then be fulfilled by a third-party plugin. So that's a much better switch mentally to approach purchasing with. Is this resonating with you yet? I hope it is. If it is, give it a like down below. Okay, question 3. Am I buying this purely because it's discounted or free? Now, this is a big thing in producer culture, if that's a real word, that when a Black Friday sale rolls around or whatever, everyone's your phone, your wallet is ready to go. It's ready to go. I have money in here. See, look. I don't know why I did that. It's like everyone's ready to just spend. But the problem with this is that a lot of the plugins producers buy on Black Friday sales, on any sort of discount, is that they're just same thing as point 2. They're not needed. And the only reason you're adding that to your library is because it's on sale. This leads to those massive plugin folders that you've got, especially if you've been producing for a few years. You tend to just accumulate. And then you're caught up in the hype and you realize 3 months down the track, you've actually touched the plugin once when you bought it, and that's it. Now, this is actually even worse with free plugins, which is kind of ironic because people just like go ham with free plugins. It's kind of like the people at markets who just go around and eat all the free samples because they're hungry but don't want to spend any money. Like, it's the same concept. You can just go on KVR and figure out what are the best free plugins and download them because, hey, they're free, not because I actually need to use them. But you got to remember, even though you're saving the money, you're still spending time and attention on something. You have to learn that plugin. You have to find a use for it. You have to scroll through it whenever you're trying to find the right plugin. It's more mental space and energy for you that's being used up. Nowadays, the best way to do this is I actually tend to avoid most free plugins. It sounds weird. I do use a few, like Camel Crush has been a great one. Ironically, it's because it's like a less featured version of an already paid plugin, which tend to be the best free plugins in my experience anyway. Because if there's a free option, there's already likely going to be a better paid option, and I'd rather just opt for that and spend the money when it's the right time. Free plugins also have problems like they don't get updated regularly, so in 5 years' time, all the projects you use that plugin, when your OS updates, suddenly it doesn't work. Whereas paid plugins, people are continually working on them and getting them up to scratch, so it's a much better investment of your money, time, and energy. And to really take this principle to the next level, what I would recommend is never buy plugins on sale. It sounds really dumb, but you can actually save money. Would you rather have 50 plugins that you buy on Black Friday sale, or would you rather have 5 really good quality ones that you just bought when you needed them? And I think this is a much better way to approach life, is just buy things when you actually need them, and then even though you're spending full price, overall you're spending less money. I think it's a much better way to approach it. If you do want to save the money, make a list of plugins like on a note-taking app that you really like, sit on it for a bit, let time weed out whether it's actually a good idea or not. And then when it comes to a sale like Black Friday, you can go ahead and purchase it, no guilt. On that note, comment below the worst plugins that you've ever come across. My personal least favorite is, I have to say, it's FL Studio's Autogun. Sorry, ImageLine, I know you guys make a great DAW, but man, Autogun, every time I load up a new preset in that thing, like it automatically generates it, it just sounds really bad. I just can't ever use it. I use Ableton now anyway, so it doesn't even matter, but yeah. Okay, so question 4. Have I done a test drive of this thing? This astounds me because most producers buy things without even actually testing a trial. And it's like, hey, the trial's there for free for you to actually see whether this plugin is a good idea or not. Like, actually try using it in your music, because if you use it and realize, oh, it's not that useful, you saved yourself time, money, and energy thinking about that plugin. But if you use it and you're like, oh man, this is such a good plugin, I would use this all the time, you kind of force yourself into buying it, which is probably a good thing because it's actually going to help you make better music. Generally, if I find myself wanting to use it at least more than once, because once you can kind of test it out and be like, oh yeah, it's okay. But if I'm like reaching for it again, I'm like, yep, okay, this is something I know I'm going to continue to use. So that's kind of like the 2 tests to see whether it's worth buying a plugin. An example plugin I did this with was XLN Audio's RC20 Retro Color plugin. I was a bit skeptical because I had stock plugins in Ableton that I could emulate the distortion and the pitch wobble effects with, but I liked the interface and the way it combined multiple effects and the workflow of it. And once I'd used it a few times, I really just liked the presets and it felt very intuitive, and it sped up my workflow with those kind of sounds, which I really liked. So I ended up splashing for it, and I felt no guilt because I tend to use it a lot, which is no problem. All right, so we've got 1 question left. If this is helping you though, make sure you subscribe to the EDMProd channel because we're going to be doing a lot more content like this in the future. Okay, last question, question 5. Is this actually the best use of my money? And I think, once again, in producer culture, there's this idea that plugins, gear is like the only way that you can spend your money in order to improve. This is slowly coming not the case, but it still is, from my observation, the majority of producers. Like, more plugins equals better music, right? It's not the case. I think, there's a lot better ways you can be spending your money as a producer. Not to say that plugins are always bad, but you can be leveling up your long-term skills, like how to actually make a full song, how my songwriting skills are, how are they going? Can I write a chord progression? Can I mix down my song? And there are educational resources to actually help you level up those skills, which will put you in a better place in the future as a producer rather than just being bogged down by plugin hell, basically. This has actually been one of our core focuses here at EDMProd, is to focus on building skills. And we've made a whole suite of courses across the basics, songwriting, sound design, drum programming, mixing, soon to be mastering, and people like it. We've had 10,000 producers sign up to our courses over the years. So if you want to check it out, we've got a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our courses. And we really do think they are some of the most comprehensive programs you'll find on the web. So click our courses link down below. So next time you're out there looking for the latest plugin, ask these 5 questions. 1, do I already have this? 2, am I fulfilling an existing need or a new need? 3, am I only buying this because it's free or on sale? 4, have I actually tested this out yet? And 5, is this the best use of my money right now? I hope that's really helped you guys. Before you leave and click out of this video, make sure to check out that free music production software guide in the description. We really think this is going to help you find the best plugins. We've eliminated all the trash out there and just given you a few really good recommendations. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, comment below, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.